On DC News Now, Nikki Haley ending her presidential campaign. The latest as all eyes turn to Trump and Biden. Rain is back in the DMV. Meteorologist Damon Madsen is tracking the afternoon downpour. Secure DC bill passes, but neighbors still feeling unsafe.
Some amendments that we didn't like. I mean, there were some good steps forward.
We're breaking down the next steps to securing the district.
And have you spotted a higher utility bill? Well, Dominion Energy and Pepco are responding to new questions. What they say might have been the cause. We're stretching your dollar with ways to save.
Also, we're celebrating remarkable women. Meet the woman honoring her late brother by giving back to her community.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Developing now in the presidential election, Republican candidate Nikki Haley is dropping out of the race. Former governor of South Carolina made the official announcement in Charleston. It comes just one day after Super Tuesday, when Haley lost nearly all 15 state primaries to former President Donald Trump. With Haley now out of Trump's matchup, the now matchup is President Biden against former President Trump in November is all but a guarantee, and our national correspondent Trevor Shirley is on Capitol Hill with more.
And Nikki Haley making that announcement to suspend following yesterday's dismal performance, managing to win only one state primary on Super Tuesday. That one win for Haley was the state of Vermont. Former President Donald Trump winning all the other Republican primaries on Tuesday. Now with Haley out, Trump is all but guaranteed a spot as the presumptive GOP nominee for president. Yesterday, President Joe Biden won all of the Democratic state primaries except for the territory of American Samoa. Biden's surprise loss there was to a previously unknown Democratic businessman who actually lives in Baltimore. All this means the country, barring some bizarre, unforeseen circumstance, is on track for a Biden-Trump repeat later this year. Despite that, polling shows most Americans don't want that to happen. During her remarks, Haley notably did not endorse Trump, calling instead for him to earn the votes of those who did not vote for him in the primaries.
It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him. And I hope he does that. At its best, politics is about bringing people into your cause, not turning them away.
Now, Biden and Trump won't become their party's official nominees for president until the nominating conventions that happen later this summer. Reporting in Washington, I'm Trevor Shirley.
All right, it's turning now to weather meteorologist Damon Madsen joined us with the latest check on the forecast. Damon, gray skies, a little rainy out there, folks carrying their umbrellas.
Oh, you're going to need it out there, Mark, to say the least. Yes, damp and dreary conditions are locked in across the viewing area. And now we're also starting to see a little bit more steady rainfall. But one thing that's been with us since early this morning, kind of kicking things off today with this rather unsettled Wednesday, is the fact that we've had a lot of fog, and dense fog advisories were just dropped across the region. However, we still do have some pockets of very dense fog across the Shenandoah Valley back toward the Allegheny Front. Visibility here is down to less than a mile, so you still want to take it easy out there as we are still dealing with some of this fog in places like Winchester, Martinsburg, and Hagerstown. But even where some of that fog has lifted, the rainfall is starting to move in. Here's a good look at that. A wall of green moving in just east and south of the I-95 corridor in the DC Metro here. We have some steadier rain now across Fredericksburg into Stafford and Dale City, and then all across southern Maryland from St. Mary's County back up into southern Prince George's County. We're seeing that wet weather, and some of this rain is just beginning to nudge into the DC Metro as well. So the umbrellas, they are going to be needed, as any light drizzle and fog out there is quickly going to turn into a steadier rainfall for us the rest of the afternoon into the evening. Though, as you go west, it looks like some of this steady rainfall may stay away, though drizzle is likely to continue. So yes, we're stuck with these unsettled conditions for the rest of the day today, but does it start to dry out by the time we get into Thursday? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. And happening now, Fairfax Connector union workers are voting on a tentative deal made last night to end the nearly 2-week strike. According to the union, They've been on strike because of unfair labor practices committed by transportation company Transdev. Well, members say yesterday was the fourth time the union and the company met in person. The union is hoping that members will approve the agreement.
We have people that's in the hospital that's got sick, and one guy just came up to me a minute ago and said that he wanted to go over to Kaiser, and Kaiser said your health insurance has been suspended.
During the strike, workers have been getting paid from a union fund. A new expansive crime bill passed with nearly unanimous vote in D.C. Council last night. It comes after mounting pressure from residents on the council and the mayor to do something about the increase in crime in the district. DC News Now's Candace Cole has the latest.
The Secure D.C. Act is now headed to Mayor Muriel Bowser's desk. It contains provisions from legislation first proposed by Ward 2 Councilmember Brooke Pinto and Mayor Bowser to help tackle crime in the district. While some consider it to be a win for D.C., others are concerned about how it will be implemented once it becomes law. The Secure D.C. Act passed the council 12-1 Tuesday, with Ward 8 council member Trayon White being the lone holdout voting present. But it didn't happen before the council debated over 100 amendments to the bill, which has sparked controversy for some communities in the district. The bill includes new provisions for stricter gun penalties and allows D.C. police to reinstate drug-free zones, a major point of contention among community advocates who say it will disproportionately target communities of color. One of the amendments includes giving investigators permission to collect DNA from people charged with a violent crime. The DNA is supposed to be destroyed if the person is found not guilty. That passed 10-3, but concerns still linger over the possible ramifications. And another amendment introduced by Councilmember White creates buffers against abuse of power by police in the district. When asked whether or not the passage of the Secure D.C. Act was a move in the right direction, Dennis Corkery with the Washington Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights says,
I think one of the biggest concerns, and it didn't get talked about today, is the increase of pretrial detention. Yes, there'll be a study to see if it's effective, but we already can see that it isn't the driving force behind the spike in violence. We're going to have to see what's going to happen about drug-free zones. Are they actually going to do anything? Are they going to lead to harassment, or is it just security theater?
And D.C. residents have also been critical of the council for not implementing measures to tackle the root causes of crime here in D.C. Once Mayor Bowser signs the Secure D.C. Act, it will become effective immediately. In Northwest, Candace Cole, D.C. News Now.
Candace, thank you. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is praising the passage of the crime bill. Her statement reads in part that we're a city that is committed to creating opportunity and that believes in second chances, but we will not tolerate violence, and we will not tolerate criminal activity that disrupts our sense of safety and our ability to build thriving neighborhoods. Meanwhile, Metro is adding special police officers to various stations to help deter and crack down on crime as it happens. Metro also hopes to help passengers feel more safe. One passenger tells DC News Now that they're not on board with extra security.
As today, the security was there at Rhode Island Avenue Station. And the gentleman jumped right over with the security sitting there and the manager. So what difference does it make? The people are not respecting the law. They're not respecting Metro at all.
Metro told DC News Now the officers are staying in DC for now, and they plan to bring more to stations in Maryland and Virginia. And Metro has given a sneak peek to its next series of trains and buses. The Fleet of the Future Expo gives the public the first look at the 8000 series, all digital trains and zero emissions double-length buses. The expo will be on display at 12th Street and Madison Drive Northwest near the National Museum of American History. It opens March 20th and runs through April 3rd from 9 to 5 every day. Well, Montgomery County's position on the global biotech game just got even stronger as AstraZeneca plans for a massive $300 million expansion in Rockville. DC News Now, Shanika Grimshaw has this week's MoCo Minute.
That's right. This new manufacturing facility in Montgomery County will specialize in cutting-edge CAR T-cell therapies, paving the way for cancer clinical trials worldwide. AstraZeneca's investment is all about pushing the boundaries of medical innovation.
Our goal is to grow ourselves as a life sciences center. We used to be 4, we're now up to number 3. These are the kind of things, along with some of the other investments we're going to talk about making, that we think can bring the county even higher.
With the creation of 150 high-quality jobs, this expansion is set to boost the local economy and strengthen Montgomery County's position as a top destination for talent and investment in the biotech sector.
What helps us is being able to show the rest of the scientific community that, Montgomery County can do multiple things.
And the project's got some solid backing with a loan from the Maryland Department of Commerce and a $100,000 grant from the county. And with this expansion, the county is solidifying its position as a global hub for life sciences research and development. For MoCo Minute, I'm Shanika Grimshaw.
All right, Shanika, thank you. And in Virginia tonight, the Virginia Department of Transportation is hosting an open house in Arlington. The meeting will focus on the results of the study to improve Glebe Road between Columbia Pike and I-66. Some of the proposals include widening sidewalks, adding dedicated turning lanes, and combining bus stops along the roadway. Attendees can provide feedback on the proposals. Well, that meeting starts at 6:30 in the Oak and Hickory rooms of the Lubber Run Community Center.